first country we're going to be talking about is, drumroll please, Luxembourg. Yay! Okay. And for their Christmas, the first thing we're going to talk about is their food. So, Stollen, this fruit cake is super good, and it is traditional Christmas like fruit cake found in the markets, eaten usually at dinner on Christmas Eve. The second thing they eat on Christmas Eve is black pudding, which I didn't expect to see this. I thought it'd be actual pudding, but it's not. It's literally this weird looking sausage, and it doesn't look that good, but I'm sure it's delicious because it's made in Europe, so you know. In conclusion to the food, we have the yummy stuff for last. It's this log cake, which is like ice cream log cake, and I have no idea how to pronounce it. I think it's called birch de Knoll or something. It looks freaking delicious. Not only does Luxembourg have the best food, it also has the best Christmas market. This place is so alive during Christmas. I think it's one of the biggest Christmas markets in Europe. And on the 6th of December, there's a parade, and this guy named Cletion comes out. He's the patron saint to children, and he throws candy at them, which is just amazing. I wish someone would throw candy at me. But he's also accompanied by this dude, ugly guy, named Hausecker, who shoves and kidnaps kids if they're bad all year. So there's that precaution. But on the Sunday preceding the 6th of December, they have this big parade that all the children participate in, which is actually where Cletion throws candy at them, excuse me. But also, Cletion delivers presents to them at night. So they get presents on the 6th. And I do believe they are the only country that gets that day off to just play with their presents. Like, kids don't have to go to school on the 6th of December in Luxembourg. They just get to stay home and play with their presents. So, a little bit about religion in Luxembourg. They do go to midnight mass a lot of the time, like traditionally, and all the family will go, and there will be songs, music, and nativity scenes, and all that. And the children like it because they get to stay up late, and when they go home, a lot of the times the kids will open their presents on Christmas Eve, and then Christmas morning they'll have more presents from Christkind, which is their Santa Claus. They don't have a Santa Claus in Luxembourg. They have Christkind, who comes and brings presents to the children. And of course, their parents give them presents as well. Alright, so our next country is Austria. Yay! We're going to start with the food. One of the favorite dishes in Austria is Martini Gonsel, which is just goose with all this other stuff that looks delicious. And they eat it traditionally on the 5th of December, so Krampusnacht, or the eve of Christuskind. Another traditional favorite in Austria is their Glühwein, which is a mixture of red wine, oranges, clove, and cinnamon. And it sounds really good, but it's very popular during Christmas. It's sold in their Christmas marks, or Christkind markt, which is the market open from late November to early December, and it sells pastries, it sells meats, and Christmas decorations. My favorite tradition, actually, from the Austrians would be their Christmas tree tradition. They usually dress up their Christmas tree in gold and silver with a straw star, which I don't recommend because fire hazard, but they get their Christmas tree on Christmas Eve, and then they go home and decorate it, or the parents do, and when the kids, until kids are old enough, and then when the kids wake up, there's presents underneath the Christmas tree, which is awesome. I would say that the 6th is more focused around Christkind coming, who just brings really candy and not as big presents. Those are really for like Christmas Day on like the 25th. 25th, yeah. So more on Christmas Day for the 25th. I would say that they're not as material good oriented as Americans are, because it's more of a family event other than what am I getting for Christmas, which I think is really cool. It's a lot more like family centered, like community centered and all of that. Now it's time for my least favorite thing about Austrian Christmas. This is one of the oldest traditions slash stories that they have. It's pre-Christian Alpine tradition. It's Krampus who comes along with Santa. It's like representation of the devil. And he takes misbehaving kids and kidnaps them and beats them with a stick and stuff. Pretty gruesome. But Austrians go full out with Krampus. They love Krampus. Even though like psychologists and school teachers have advised against actually having Krampus as a part of, tradition. So pretty much on December 5th, day before December 6th, when Christkind comes, they have a Krampus, like Krampus festival, Krampusnacht, which is where it's more of a costume party for adults, but it's a big festival in the city, and they all dress up like Krampus and roam the streets. And I would imagine if a child was there, they would be terrified. They also happen to have a Krampus museum somewhere in Austria, which I think is horrible, but it's an outside museum. And yeah, Krampus, and there's the new movie coming out. Just scary, scary stuff. On to something more happier. We have a traditional Austrian carol, Still, 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 which is Hush, Hush, Hush. For the little child is sleeping, I think is there's another verse to that or continuation of the line, but it's pretty much about when baby Jesus was born and in the barn with his mother, and they're trying to sing him to sleep because he was born in a barn. He's probably pretty like, what's going on? So they're trying to sing him to sleep, and that's where the origin of the story is said to have come from. The last thing I'd like to point out, what is different from Luxembourg, is that their Christkind is different from Austria's. Austria's Christkind is still blonde, blue-eyed, like little thing person, but it's a baby or toddler with wings that brings the candy and everything. It's not an adult woman. It's sort of like her child form that comes to bring the children presents and candy, which I thought is pretty cool and pretty weird because we don't have like baby Santa in South America bring presents. So, yeah, fun fact. Last but not least, we have Namibia. Yay! I don't know why it's so blurry, but yay!